Hello everyone, it is I, Magnanix. The video you see in the background now is the recent modelling stream that I completed, turning Purple Butts Chan into Purple Butts Night Chan, based on the artwork from Rummy NG, the artist that I have commissioned for the new cards for my VR chat love letter game. Well, it's not really my game, but the map is. And whilst this video is playing in the background, I thought we'd go into a little bit of history. But first, before doing that, I would like to thank each and every one of you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for following me, and thank you for subscribing to this channel. My content is rather sporadic, barely releasing as much as I used to. Well, there are reasons for this. Let's go into it now. So, when I first made my channel, The Mind Theatre, it was merely a place to store a repository of funny readings I was trying to do of terrible fanfiction. Those few videos I started doing are still available right at the beginning of this channel's uploads. I think there are 4 or 5 of them from memory. I had quite a lot of fun doing that, and whilst I was doing it I slowly improved my workflow. Then came a day that I was bored, reading novels on Wuxia World. There was a story I was very interested in at the time, Praise the Orc. Quite a good novel. As I was reading it I realized, well, I could put my voice to use and actually record this. I already read like this to some friends in Discord, so what would be the harm? And thus I started recording the Praise the Orc series. Now, I was doing it originally for fun. Oh, it was very fun, I will say, except it was extremely work-intensive. I'm talking 2 to 3 hours per single recording, all to make a 10 to 15 minute video, just simply because I suppose I had to time the subtitles, I had to copy them over, I had to then record it, re-record parts that I stuffed up, balance audio, you know, general audio work sort of things. So I kind of stopped doing that when life started picking up, which, as we know, life is ought to do at the most inopportune times. Then, for what you know me from, VR chat happened. I was bored, on holidays, looking for something to do, when I found a lovely video that prompted me to download the infamous VR chat. Within hours of being logged in and chatting with the most bubbly and fresh people I had spoken with in quite a long time, much better than the dreary existence I had lived working day in day out up to that point, I was in love. Immediately I went out and obtained a Vive, and the moment I put it on and entered the game, even with out-of-date hardware, I was in bliss. It was a brand new world, a virtual world, filled with wonderful people and awesome, awesome places. I loved every moment of those early days, when we could count the amount of people online simultaneously in a single tweet. It was such a fun time. During that time, there was a minor increase in the populations of the servers, and I started getting well known for doing impromptu readings. There was a bit of lobbying going around. A bunch of people suggested that I do a story time with Magnanix. This was even suggested by the awesome VR Pill. So I decided, sure. I had already been doing this in Discords or in small groups of friends within VR chat. I had also been uploading videos with the Praise the Orc series just prior to joining VR chat. So why not? Why not make an event where people can come and listen to me read a story? We can all enjoy it together. Thus was born Storytime with Magnanix, the AU edition. Those first few weeks were quite fun. Lots of difficulty, especially with what was happening in real life at that time. There were a few issues, and the beginning was rather bumpy, but once the flow was down, it became a regular occurrence. Since then, I've only taken, I believe, 1 weekend off. That was over 6 months ago. Quite fun, and I've also picked up a second storytime slot. This one, the Storytime with Magnanix US, where we read a completely different story. But, well, that's modern day. Back to the story at hand. It was around this time, I believe, the very first instances of those readings were recorded and posted on Leroy's Twitch stream. Then it moved over to the YouTube stream of the Lolly Squad, a wonderful group of people. If you ever have the chance to meet them, say hi from me. It was around this time that I started working on more advanced avatars with sound effects, avatars with multiple gestures and overrides, all because of ideas that were given to me through media, and obviously the fact that my voice, combined with the persona I exuded, relaxed people. It was this stage, during my entire VR chat career, that marked the beginning of the roaming virtual barber. One evening out of the blue, recording myself, for this exact reason, I began just walking up to people and offering haircuts, a general relaxing situation, gently buzzing around the back of their ears, cutting off loose ends, brushing their hair, wetting it with the water bottle. Those very first times were so exhilarating, seeing the people relax in your hands, watching them quiver with joy, and then finally relaxing, some even falling asleep on the spot. Quite fun. It was then that I began uploading these videos after putting them through basic editing, and, well, it was quite fun. People started watching the content, many people wanted to come along, and many people wanted to be a part of the experience. It was quite a lovely time. Then, without realizing, I performed the haircutting routine on a streamer whom I did not realize was streaming, as I was unaware that such a community existed within VR chat at the time. My only brush with streaming had been the reading hall recordings, and of those I could never stream them, as I always thought my internet was poorly, was unable to hold the upkeep required. Well, I was mistaken about that, but that comes later. So after this meeting with the popular streamer Pokelols, an amazing fellow, quite down to earth, and all of his friends there, my channel exploded. Most of you are probably from that time. I continued creating works, seeing more and more people enjoying my content, feeling happier and happier, and realizing this is a dream. Making content made me extremely happy. Creating the content that would bring people happiness, relaxation, and joy always made me smile. Working on those videos was beautiful. I didn't mind how long it took. I didn't mind the amount of sleep I was losing. I just wanted to keep pushing those videos out so that everyone could keep enjoying them. And thinking this, with my dreary everyday job, of which I still work, unfortunately, 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, full-time work, I realized I wanted to not do that anymore. I wanted to move away from the job I've been doing for near 10 years and moving over to content creation. To make this dream, as, quite frankly, that is what it had become at that point, into a reality, I began the procedure for monetization of my YouTube channel. I was extremely excited. And then a month passed. Still creating videos, I saw no issue. Maybe they were just backlogged. Maybe there was a lot of people. At this time, a lot of the content creators in the community were also waiting, so not that I was first in line, I was most likely last in line. I just accepted it and moved on, continually creating more videos and content, and everyone was enjoying it. 2 months passed. I was getting a little worried at this point. Obviously still working my daily job, the late nights and working late into the evening was really starting to have a bit of a toll on my mentality. 3 months passed. It was at this stage that I decided YouTube might not pan out. Unfortunately, they became completely unresponsive, not only to me but other people as well within the community. People like Trapman, Jacoba, you know, the big names now. And it was at this point that the luster, the spectacle of it all, started waning thin. You'll notice this trend in my channel. All of a sudden, my videos just kind of stopped and vanished. But it was also at this time that I discovered my internet can actually hold an upstream. It was an accident, completely an accident. You see, one day, Shadow Snipe from the Lolly Squad was unable to make it to stream my storytime with Magnanix, so, in a rush and a panic, I decided I'd try to stream it, and lo and behold, it worked. From that moment on, I knew I could stream, so I started looking at avenues. I was streaming on YouTube for a little while. It was going quite well, and then, well, as we all know, YouTube still hadn't responded. I don't remember exactly how many months in that was, 3 or 4, I can't remember. It was quite long ago now. But regardless of that fact, I moved over to the platform called Twitch. My first Twitch streams were rather bumpy, but at the same time I met some amazing individuals, people who were enjoying what I was doing, people who loved to see what I was playing, and to generally spend time with me through the chat. I truly appreciate every single one of you that has been there and is still here now, from all the way back then. Such a wonderful time. On Twitch I could see active growth. I could see on Twitch where everything was going, and Twitch gave me immediate means, after the first week of course, of actually doing this as a job, as a living, making something of this other than the dreary career I currently am in. It was a golden age of opportunity, as they say, and I was having so much fun I sunk every waking moment into it, outside of work and sleep of course. In fact, I started sacrificing sleep so I could spend more and more time in it. I don't think there were many days off in those first few months. I don't remember. But, well, I mean, I've only been doing this for the last 4 months, and I'm already at 500 hours streamed as of 2 streams ago. So, well, mathematically I think that roughly equates to 4 hours of streaming a day on average. Every day for the last 5 months, or something like that. I don't remember the math, but anyway. Everything was looking up. I was having the time of my life. But I noticed that my views were stagnating. I noticed that while I did have a loyal core audience who had stuck through thick and thin with me, most from the very beginning of it all, I was not seeing any growth. And then that started having a severe effect on me. I was looking at everyone else who was getting much more popular, much more quickly, and unfortunately, well, I thought that I was the boring one, which, you know, I still think, but, well, at this moment in time it doesn't bother me that much anymore. So I took a week off work to see if it was time zones that was causing the issue. For a solid week, I was almost streaming in the US time, every day. But unfortunately, the same situation was occurring. Now I know a week was probably not long enough as a litmus test, as it were, but it got me down a little. So, it was at that point that I decided I need to stop focusing on this dream that will never become a reality, and instead focus on the work that is actually keeping me alive, on the career that I have spent the last roughly 10 years working, as at this point the sacrificing of sleep was actually causing bad effects in that job. So, in light of this, I cut back on the streaming quite a bit. You'll notice now that I still jump on like a lunatic because I enjoy it far too much, but my YouTube had been left derelict, only receiving the VODs of the streams that I had done. That was until a few weeks ago, when I tried to revive the roaming virtual barber. I apologize, friends, and I thank you again for your patience. I do intend to continue to release more videos, but I humbly request your understanding, as working full-time, building maps, doing readings, building avatars, and, well, sleeping, takes up the majority of my time. And what little time I have left, I try to push over to YouTube. I try to balance everything, but at the end of the day, this is all a hobby to me, and I cannot focus all of my attention on it. So, thank you to those who have listened to this silly little rant of mine. I hope that it has been entertaining at the least, or relaxing at the worst. If you are interested in the small model you've seen built in the background of this small video, you'll find her over on my Patreon. You don't have to worry about Patreon tiers, I don't have such things. Why lock content that I enjoy making and wish to share with the world behind paywalls? It just doesn't make sense, honestly. So, feel free to download her and upload her to your VRChat account so that you can spread the glory of purple butts to every corner of the world, both virtual and real. Thank you all again for joining me in this silly little ranty history of my channel, The Mind Theatre. Maybe now I can put some time into working on the comment reading video. I still have about 100 comments left to do. Who knows? Or maybe I'll release what I did earlier in stream. Another cut. Episode 2, I suppose it would be, of the Roaming Virtual Barber Season 2, with the lovely Drizzt as the model. I can never say that name right. Well, until then, I love you all, and make sure you have a wonderful morning, evening, or night, no matter where you are. Farewell for now.